Makoto had always been that boy, the delicate one with the faraway eyes, the kind of look that makes people want to reach out and save him. Even after years abroad, he returned to our city with the same broken prince aura, still able to stir up that protective instinct in others. I'd braced myself for the cliché. You know the script. The old crush comes back, the wife wavers, the marriage unravels. She regrets everything too late. That's the story everyone expects. But instead, Willow, my wife, chose not to play her part. She was done with that drama before it even started. It was our anniversary. Candlelight flickered between us, casting gold across our plates. The kind of dinner where you almost forget the world outside. But then her phone lit up, and I caught that flicker in her expression. Irritation, not guilt. She slid the phone toward me like it was nothing. Darling, she sighed, exasperated. Can you believe this? Makoto just cut his finger and wants me to drive an hour to help him bandage it. Like I'm his mother. I took the phone and nearly choked on my drink. The contact wasn't saved as Makoto, it was pathetic Sissy. And his message read like a bad soap opera. I'm bleeding. Only you can save me. Willow's lips tightened, but her eyes sparkled. She typed a reply, her thumbs moving like she was firing shots. If it's that bad, call 911. Any later and the bleeding might stop. I laughed out loud, the tension dissolving. In that moment, it was clear she wasn't hiding him. She wasn't sneaking around. She was annoyed enough to be funny about it. We'd known each other since we were kids, school uniforms, playground scrapes, first heartbreaks. Makoto had come later, the melancholic golden boy with the guitar, who could make every girl feel like the song was just for her. Willow was one of them once. But that was years ago, another life. Now here she was, sitting across from me at our anniversary dinner, rolling her eyes at his desperation. She'd already chosen which story she wanted to live in, and it wasn't his. Just as the warmth returned to the room, the phone rang again. This time, Makoto's voice poured through the speaker, cracked and desperate. He begged, he sobbed. He dropped words like depression and suicide like anchors into the silence. Willow's patience snapped. Makoto, she hissed, her voice like steel wrapped in velvet. I'm not your therapist. I'm having dinner with my husband. If you're sick, go to the hospital. Stop calling me. On the other end, Makoto tried one last manipulation. Guilt. Death threats. Emotional blackmail, as if his life and our marriage were pieces on the same board. But Willow wasn't playing anymore. She ran a hand through her hair, eyes blazing. What makes you think, she said slowly, that if you end your life, I'll be the one carrying that weight in my marriage? And just like that, the script flipped. Willow's voice was ice. I'm not a doctor. I can't help you. If you really can't survive without me, then just die. Every single day, people lose their lives in war zones across the world. Do you expect me to save them all? Do you think I'm some kind of superwoman? Makoto was stunned. He hadn't expected her to be so ruthless, so unshakably cold. His voice cracked, dripping disbelief. Willow, you've changed. You weren't like this before. How can you be so heartless? But Willow was past the point of sympathy. Her frustration boiled over. Oh, please. Can't you act like a normal human being for once? What kind of wife would leave her husband on their anniversary dinner just to rush to an old classmate who cut his finger or claims he's drowning in depression? Isn't that just asking for trouble when life is perfectly fine? Do I look like an idiot to you? Her tone cut through the air like a blade. Makoto tried again, desperate. Willow, enough! She snapped. I'm hanging up. And if you keep pestering me, I'll block you. And with that, she ended the call. Her eyes welled up, not with guilt but with exhaustion, her face twisted in grievance. She slumped against me, muttering, Darling. What rotten luck. If I'd known it would be like this, I never would have met Makoto when he came back. He clings like a sticky bandage I can't peel off. Ugh, it makes me feel unclean. I studied her quietly, intrigued by how raw and unfiltered her reaction was. No act, no pretense. Just Willow being honest. I pulled her close, my voice calm, reassuring. Don't worry. As long as we don't fall into some cliché love story, the unreachable first crush who ruins everything, and we keep talking, keep being honest, we'll be fine. She nodded quickly, almost childlike. Then she cracked a silly grin, completely at odds with her polished career woman image. Darling, hug me. Days passed. Makoto stayed quiet after Willow threatened to block him, but silence was never his strong suit. Soon enough, his restlessness crept back. It was a rare bright weekend in Sea City, the kind that pulled people out into the sun. Willow and I decided to take a lazy stroll through the park. But we hadn't even walked 100 steps when her phone rang again. The look on her face said it all. I didn't even need to ask. She put it on speaker, and Makoto's anxious voice spilled out. "Willow, something terrible's happened. My grandmother fainted. The doctors say she has a terminal illness. She doesn't have much time left. Before she goes, she wants to see you one last time." I knew his grandmother. Back when Makoto and Willow had their brief, messy, almost relationship, the old woman had treated Willow with warmth, like she was already family. It was hard to forget kindness like that. I watched Willow closely. I could see the tug of war on her face, resentment on one side, guilt on the other. Finally, she clenched her jaw. "Fine, give me the address. I'll visit her this afternoon." Makoto's tone shifted immediately, dripping with false relief. "That's wonderful. Grandma will be so happy. Maybe even better after seeing you. Oh, one thing, her mind's not clear these days. She doesn't like strangers. She only wants to see you. Could you come alone?" Willow hung up without another word. She turned to me with a soft smile, guilty but firm. "Darling, I'm sorry. Looks like our walk's over. After lunch, come with me to the hospital." I raised a brow. Hadn't Makoto just asked her to come alone? But I didn't need to voice the thought. Willow read it in my eyes and scoffed. "He can say whatever he wants. Why should I obey? Even in a hospital, what if it's a trap? I'm not walking in unprepared." I nodded. She was right. That afternoon, we walked into the hospital together. The moment Makoto spotted Willow, his whole face lit up. But then his eyes darted to me, and just like that, his smile twisted into a scowl. Willow went inside the ward to see his grandmother, while I stayed outside. I leaned casually against the wall, studying Makoto. Time had barely touched him. He was still handsome, still delicate. But beneath it all, there was a sharpness now, a sinister edge that came from too many years of scheming. And yet his frail posture remained. That broken, tragic aura he wore like a badge of honor. He glanced at me, his lips curling into a sneer. "You should know, if I hadn't gone abroad, you'd never have had a chance with Willow. I was her crush, the one she'll always carry in her heart. If I were you, I'd step aside willingly. At least then you'd keep some dignity." I didn't reply. I just watched him, amused, as if he were a performer stumbling through a bad play. His voice sharpened. "George, are you mute? The one Willow truly loves will always be me. You were just a stand-in while I was gone. Now that I'm back, the substitute can step aside. Do yourself a favor. Walk away." Still, I stayed silent, only the faintest smirk tugging at my lips. Makoto's face contorted, rage breaking through the cracks of his false elegance. He was unraveling. "You bastard! What kind of attitude is that? Just wait, I'll make sure to take care of Willow." Makoto thought he could rattle me. "Once Willow cheats on you, you'll regret this arrogance," he hissed. But I just smiled. "Makoto, doesn't it feel hollow? All your little traps, all your photos, all your petty schemes, they never even touched her. You couldn't take the first step. Everything you prepared became nothing but a joke." His face betrayed him. Shock, disbelief, rage, and then madness. But suddenly, as if struck with an idea, his expression shifted. He glanced toward the ward door, and before I could move, he slapped himself. A vicious crack echoed down the hall. Blood trickled from his lip, swelling blooming across his cheek. "George," he whimpered, his voice breaking. "How could you? There's nothing improper between me and Willow. You hit me? Fine, but don't you dare misunderstand her." The timing was perfect, too perfect. Because just then the ward door swung open. Willow stepped out, caught between fury and exhaustion. She didn't hesitate. She took my hand and tried to pull me away, but Makoto lunged, grabbing her arm. "Willow, wait! He hit me!" He pointed to his face, looking pitiful, tears brimming. For a second, the hallway froze. Then smack! Willow's palm struck his other cheek with brutal precision. The sound rang out sharp and merciless. "If George hit you," she spat, "you must have done something wrong. Don't worry, I'll make it symmetrical for you." Her eyes narrowed as she tilted her head, smirking. But funny, the handprints face opposite directions. I don't recall George having his hands on backwards. She rolled her eyes, proud and fearless, then tugged me down the hallway without another glance. I asked softly, "What happened in there, Willow? Did Makoto's grandmother try something?" That single question lit a fire in her. Tears spilled over, not weak, but burning with rage. I can't believe it. That old woman, so kind when I first knew her, now she's nothing but shameless. Even sick, even dying, she disgusts me. Barely after saying hello, she told me to divorce you, marry Makoto, and give him a child. Said it was her final wish. What does she take me for? I held her gently, steadying her storm. There. You didn't agree, did you? Agree? I'd have to be insane. The only reason I didn't slap her was out of pity. Using her illness as a shield for her selfish desires, she's vile. She deserves her suffering. So even the grandmother's assault had failed, and I wondered, would Makoto crawl back into silence again? Maybe once. Maybe twice. But I knew this wasn't over. A few days later, the quiet shattered again. This time it wasn't Makoto's number flashing on Willow's phone. It was her best friend from high school, Maria. Willow's face lit up with relief. Maria, it's been so long. I thought you'd forgotten me. They laughed, they chatted, and when she hung up, Willow turned to me with a smile. Darling, Maria invited me out tonight. A little girls' night. Laura, Lisa, and Luna will be there too. We'll meet at 7, finish around 10. Can you pick me up after? I grinned. When my wife gives an order, how could I refuse? She blushed, shoving my shoulder. You're impossible. That evening, I drove her to the Sissy Welcome Hotel. She looked stunning. Light makeup, stylish dress, confidence in her stride. She kissed my cheek and said sweetly, If anything happens, I'll call you. Don't worry. I smiled, nodded, and watched her walk away. But as the door closed behind her, my smile faded. My gaze sharpened, dark with suspicion. Worthless tricks, I muttered. Always the same cheap schemes. I didn't drive away. I waited. Then I called a number of my own and walked straight into the hotel. By the time I reached the private room, I could already hear Willow's voice, fury cutting through the walls. Maria, I treated you like a sister and you set me up with Makoto? Willow, no! You've got it wrong, Maria's voice pleaded. Makoto said it was a misunderstanding. I just wanted to help. You two belong together. Everyone can see it. So you lied? Laura, Lisa, Luna, they were never coming, were they? Maria faltered. I only did this for your own good. And then Makoto's voice oozed through the door. Maria's right. She's watched us for years. She knows we're the most compatible. She's just helping us find our way back. I heard Willow's breath hitch, fury turning to panic. You drugged me? My head. It's spinning. Willow, don't blame me, Maria whispered. I just don't want you to miss your chance with Makoto. Trust me, I'd never hurt you. Then came Willow's broken sob. Hubby, save me. That was enough. I shoved the door open and the scene hit me like a dagger. Maria and Makoto were holding Willow up, ready to drag her away. Her eyes locked onto mine, wide with desperate joy. Makoto and Maria froze, fear twisting their faces. George, I can explain, Maria stammered. My hand silenced her. The slap cracked like thunder, sending her spinning, blood streaking down her face. Save your excuses for the police, I said coldly. At the word police, Makoto dropped Willow and bolted for the door. But I was already there, blocking his path. His eyes burned with animal rage. His hands curled into claws, reaching for my face. And that was his final mistake. The strike came like a storm. Dark energy trailing from Makoto's claws, each streak dripping with murderous intent. In that instant, the mask fell away. He wasn't the fragile, brooding young master anymore. He was pure predator, hawk-eyed, wolf-blooded, his body moving faster than the eye could follow. George, you forced me into this. Go to hell, he roared, his body lunging forward. But I didn't flinch. My arms folded calmly across my chest as I watched him come. And just before his hand could graze me, my leg snapped upward, lightning fast, the twist of my hips driving a kick so sharp it shattered the air. My foot slammed into his chest, and the shock in his eyes was almost louder than the sound of his body crashing into the wall. He crumpled, gasping, half dead before he even hit the ground. I stared at him, my voice cold. With such pitiful strength, you dare drug people? You think the law is just decoration? Pathetic. And then the door burst open. 5 officers stormed in, guns and handcuffs at the ready. Maria's mask cracked instantly. She dropped to her knees, sobbing, her voice a pitiful stammer. Wait, I didn't mean it. I was wrong. Please, don't arrest me. The silver cuffs clicked shut around her wrists, her cries echoing in the room. Makoto, half conscious, was shackled and dragged out beside her. On the table, the water glass gleamed beneath the harsh light, silent, damning. evidence that couldn't be denied. For now, the nightmare was over. Makoto wouldn't be haunting our lives again, at least not anytime soon. When Willow awoke later and learned what had happened, it was as though a weight had lifted from her soul. Her brows softened, her starry eyes glistened with relief, and her lips curved into a trembling smile. She clung to me, her voice breaking. "Hubby, thank you for saving me. I never dreamed my best friend would betray me with him. If it weren't for you, I'd be ruined." I stroked her hair gently, drawing her close. "There, it's all right. Don't be afraid, it's over now." She nestled into my chest, pouting like a child, but her voice carried the tremor of real fear. "I'm still scared, hubby. How can people's hearts turn so cruel?" I sighed softly, pressing her closer. Who knows? Maybe she was jealous, maybe manipulated, or maybe she was rotten all along. But it doesn't matter. Neither of them will ever disturb you again. Justice came swiftly. Makoto was sentenced to 3 years for attempted rape and narcotics. Maria, his accomplice, got 1. But when the sentence was read, Makoto's composure shattered. He collapsed in the courtroom, begging the judge through his tears. "Please, don't lock me away. 3 years will kill me." By the time they dragged him out, he was raving, crying, laughing like a madman, a hollow echo of the ruthless man who once thought himself untouchable. The next morning, I woke to Willow still in my arms. Tear stains streaked her cheeks, giving her a fragile beauty, like pear blossoms trembling in the rain. She whispered, voice quivering. "Hubby, I had a dream. Such a sorrowful dream." I kissed her forehead softly. "Tell me." She closed her eyes, searching. "It's blurry now, but at the end..." I was standing in the dark, and there was a ghost, a woman who looked just like me. Her face was twisted and her eyes bled tears. She kept saying over and over, "The great mistake has already been made. Regret can't undo it. I'll let my soul scatter into nothingness if it means another version of me can live free, with a clear conscience, in another life." Her voice faltered. At the very end, she begged me to live well. To carry her share of life too. "Hubby, do you think I've been under too much stress? Why would I dream something so strange?" I held her tighter, my heart aching at the fear in her voice. "It's just stress, darling. It's all behind us now. What matters is us, living well, moving forward." She nodded against my chest, clinging like she never wanted to let go. But when I later went to see Makoto in prison, I found nothing left of the man I once knew. His once striking face had withered, his eyes hollowed out, his whole being reduced to something pitiful. And when he saw me, madness lit his gaze. He slammed the bars, his scream breaking through the silence. "It's you, George! You should have just died like the side character you are. I conquered Willow, I completed my mission, I escaped this world. Why was I sent back to the beginning? Was it you?" I smiled faintly, though the weight of my gaze was sharp enough to cut steel. "Yes and no. Maybe you never thought of this, Makoto. After you toyed with hearts, crushed trust, and made yourself hated by everyone, maybe I'm not the only one who wanted to destroy you." And then the world shifted. The air froze. Light dimmed. Time itself halted. Every sound, every breath, every movement turned to crystal stillness. The only 2 souls left moving in that prison of ice were him and me. I stepped through the bars as if they didn't exist, each step echoing like a countdown. But don't worry about answers anymore. For a man standing this close to death, knowing who pulled the strings doesn't matter. I drew closer, and in his silence, in the terror trembling in his breath, you could already feel it. Makoto had finally met the end of his story. Makoto's screams echoed through the prison walls, raw and frantic. System, come out! I give up this mission. I don't want the points, I don't want anything, just get me out of here." But the silence that answered him was colder than death itself. I stepped closer, my voice steady, almost mocking. "Too late. That toy of yours, you thought it was your savior. But after all the filth you've done, all the lives you've shattered, it won't waste its strength saving a pawn like you." I drew in a slow breath, and in that moment a sphere of light tore itself from his body, flickering wildly before I swallowed it whole. I smirked faintly. Tasteless. But then again, what could I expect? If it were a true system, it wouldn't need to drag cannon fodder like you across worlds to do its dirty work. The last of his hope left him. He collapsed to his knees, forehead slamming into the floor. "Please, spare me! You're not George, you can't be! I never even offended you, we have no grudge, please let me go!" I looked down at him, my smile sharp. Stop fooling yourself. I am George. And seeing you like this, it's almost poetic. No wonder you've spent your life jumping from world to world, stealing wives, wrecking homes, humiliating men just to feel powerful. Turns out the thing you craved most was kneeling. Desperate to live, Makoto's hands flew to his own face. He slapped himself again and again, sharp smacks cutting through the silence until his cheeks ballooned into a grotesque, swollen mess. Tears and snot smeared across his face, the pitiful image of a man stripped of every ounce of dignity. But I'd grown tired of the act. No speeches, no last lines. Just an ending. I raised my hand, and with a simple snap of my fingers, the air shifted. Makoto froze mid-kneel, his body trembling as shadows began to seep from his skin. Black mist coiled around him, swirling like a living curse before streaming toward me, sinking deep into my chest. I inhaled sharply. Ah! The taste of karmic filth. And just like that, the world felt cleaner. I am George, but I am not only George. Before I ever came here, I was a wanderer, crossing countless worlds, living 1,000 borrowed lives. The man whose body I now wore, he wasn't just a victim. He was a soul torn apart by betrayal, still clinging to the belief that the woman he loved could never truly have killed him, never turned against him willingly. His dying wish wasn't vengeance. It was freedom for her. And when his broken spirit knelt before me, soaked in blood and sorrow, he offered everything. 10 lifetimes of merit, the entirety of his soul's power, just so I could uncover the truth and set her free. In the end, fate had already played its cruel hand. His beloved had sacrificed herself, giving everything to ensure Willow's freedom from the story that had chained her. 2 lovers walking different paths, both reaching the same fate, choosing love over themselves. Even I, hardened by endless years, couldn't help but feel the weight of their tragedy. Then came Willow's voice, soft as sunlight breaking through clouds. "Hubby, did you hear?" They say Makoto turned into a vegetable in prison. Her eyes curved like crescent moons as she smiled, the shadows finally gone. The woman before me was no longer haunted. She was radiant again, the confident CEO reborn from the ashes of betrayal. I chuckled lightly. Didn't hear? But honestly, it suits a man like him. Her laughter, warm and bright, shimmered in her starry eyes. And in that moment, I felt something I hadn't in a long time. Peace. Because while I may not only be George, in this life I am George. And I made a promise, one forged in blood, in sorrow, in trust. The soul who placed his hope in me deserved nothing less than my devotion. I would carry his love, his will, his determination to protect the woman he cherished. I will live. I will fight. I will walk beside Willow for the rest of this lifetime. Mountains may crumble. Seas may fade to dust. But true love must never be betrayed.